Tensions between NATO and Russia have been high since the Kremlin began a military intervention in East Ukraine last year. Nonetheless, the alliance says it is ready to re-establish contact with Moscow, even as it noted a spike in recent days in the amount of Russian weapons and supplies going to insurgents in Ukraine's Donbas region.
We have seen increased numbers of Russian heavy equipment being moved from Russia to the separatists. And we speak about tanks, armored vehicles, artillery, advanced air defense systems.
NATO's announcement of its plan for a thaw in ties with Russia came as the country's president, Vladimir Putin, pointed the finger at Ukraine for the recent spike in violence in the Donbas. Putin told senior state officials that he sent a letter to Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko proposing a withdrawal of forces by all sides in the conflict, but hadn't received a response. Unfortunately, we not only did not get back any distinct answer to our suggestion, but we saw opposite actions. Namely, Kiev authorities gave an official order about full-scale military actions almost all along the perimeter of contact of the opposing forces. On the ground in the occupied regions of Ukraine, meanwhile, the mood appears to be one of defiance, with one of the leaders of the insurgent forces rejecting peace talks and declaring that his men would push forward on the attack. So we made the decision not to wait until the Ukrainian army starts an offensive and not allow them to make battle formations and allow them to harm us in any way. We will attack until we reach the borders of the Donetsk region. Those comments made peace appear ever more elusive for the moment, in spite of the efforts of figures like Germany's Foreign Minister Frank-Walter Steinmeier. He hosted a meeting with the Russian and Ukrainian foreign ministers earlier this week, but he accused the insurgents of undermining those efforts and of trying to derail a previous peace plan signed last September in Belarus capital Minsk.
It
is now up to those who signed the Minsk agreements, those who have signed the Declaration of Berlin, to make sure that those things are implemented. But the comments of the separatist leader that I have read today are nothing short of warmongering. We will achieve a de-escalation of the conflict if we start now with the withdrawal of heavy weaponry based on the agreement in Berlin. Since the ceasefire deal in Minsk, Ukraine says 200 of its servicemen have died. That figure comes amid new findings from the United Nations, which said this week that the death toll in the East Ukraine conflict now stands at more than 5,000.